Good day, everybody. We're here with Crypto Stylist. Stylist, how you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing really well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great, doing great. So if you came across this video, it's because you probably got a mail piece in the mail, a lumpy type mail piece about that big, and it has an electronic device in it with some branding on it that's directing you to pulsechain.com and hex.com. And you might be wondering, what is this all about? And that's what we're going to endeavor to explain to you is what that is all about. So a little bit of background of who sent the mail piece to you. His name is Richard Hart. He is the founder of a blockchain named PulseChain, labeled on the device. And his vision, this Richard Hart's vision, is to give everyday people, perhaps like you, a chance to become a millionaire or a multi-millionaire. And this literally is a rare opportunity to get in on the floor price of a layer one blockchain. And Richard is rumored to be a multi-billionaire. He's an egotistical, I don't mean this in a bad way. He has an ego. He will not take no for an answer. He definitely wants to win. And as evidenced by what came in your mailbox, he is sending a bucket ton of those devices out to draw people into his chain. And the chain is, we think, stylists I think would agree, the chain is going to be very successful in probably short order. That's why we're reaching out to you to try to help you get onboarded to the chain.
I think people are underestimating the power and how clever that this marketing campaign actually is. And I've seen some comments on X, just where people who are underwhelmed or making fun of it and saying that it's childish. But this is a tablet, so this is a kind of electronic tablet that you write on, like an Etch-a-Sketch, that you can actually keep it. Kids use them a lot. I just watched a stream where a gentleman was saying that he was like helping his kid with their homework on it. And so this is the kind of thing that you actually keep and you use and you reuse. So there's a stickiness to it. And that stickiness is really important in helping to brand and getting the name out there for hex.com, pulse.com, pulsex.com. These are all the products of Richard Hart. And speaking of Richard Hart, whom I've had the pleasure of meeting and spending a lot of time with, he's an amazing human being. And it is his goal he's trying to revolutionize the financial system. It's resetting right now with crypto and DeFi, and his principles and what he believes in is even amongst all the people who in the pioneers in crypto, he's a purist and he has what's in the best interest of the people at heart, which is very, very, very rare. So I advise you, if you got one of these packages in the mail, I can actually personally attest to the fact that where the price will go, we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball. I'm optimistic, but I can't say that he's very smart, that he's very strategic, and that he's a very good person, and that his first project, Hex, did a 10,000x. So if that gives you any background of who it is who sent you this, and with the written on there that with the hex.com and pulse.com and pulsex.com, I really encourage you to look into it. Look into the man, look into the chain, look into his content, richardhart.com. There's a lot of streams on YouTube, and you can really get an in-depth look at his principles and what he believes in and how well-versed, how intelligent he is in this space.
Yes, indeed. And let's define a 10,000x. So a 10,000x is you invest $1 and it becomes worth $10,000. And that can literally happen in crypto. So let's talk about that. Why crypto? Why should people take a look at crypto versus, and we don't need to go into other financial instruments, but why crypto versus your 401k or your standard retirement, which you get, what is it called from the government?
401k.
There's a 401k and then your standard retirement. But
pension,
pension, sure, a pension. But But why crypto? Well, crypto solves the problem of inflation. Like the fiat currency, the standard currency system inflates. Like we even think that they're probably going to lower interest rates in September, perhaps. And then that just means they're going to start printing more money, which inflates the supply, which means items at the store seemingly become worth more or more expensive, we put it that way. But crypto solves a lot of those problems because at least the currencies we're in, now I want you to speak to this. You're probably more sharp at it, but like the currencies you and I are in are deflationary. They do not inflate, they deflate. Crypto also eliminates middlemen. Like, for example, I can send a transaction, I can send currency directly to crypto stylists and vice versa with nobody in between. And crypto runs 24/7. It never shuts down. Stock market, it's off on the weekends and holidays. Not crypto. You can transact any day of the week.
As a person I live abroad. So for me to wire money home, not only do I have to literally give so much information, I swear to God, they take blood and they like really want to know why it is I'm sending the money, and they make it so difficult. They cap the amount that I could send. It takes 4 days for me to send it. And there's only a certain amount that I can send per year. And so just that freedom to transact is so important. It is a fundamental right that's been taken away from us. So Banana, I couldn't be more in agreement with you about the utility and then the freedom that gives us back to the people, and the fact that, cryptocurrencies, at least the good projects and Richard's, projects, the PulseX, for example, is deflationary. And there's a plan. Even for the projects that are inflationary, it's very transparent as to the rate of inflation as to why, and there's a game theory behind it.
True.
So that's super different. That's very different than the government, which just decides to print money out of the thin air. But I think that the thing that maybe, for those of you who are watching this video and you're new to crypto, what I will say to you, and it's going to sound very moon boy and kind of crazy, but crypto is the highest appreciating asset in the history of mankind. And you have a chance to get in now, and you're still early. Only 6.5% of the population is exposed to crypto at this point. So there's still 93.5% of the population that hasn't even touched it, that's not exposed. So let's say we even just quadruple that. That's still only 25, 26% that will be into crypto, which is just 1/4 of the population. But what that will do to the market caps of crypto, what that will do to the value, will be life changing. So you have a chance to get in now. So I think that there's the practical aspect, there's the philosophy behind it, which I'm very, very passionate about, and as is Banana. But then there's also that this is a chance for you to make generational wealth. You could be the one, as my friend Corey Geary always says, be the member of your family who takes your family out of that mediocrity and takes to another level. Be that member. That's who I'm trying to be for my family. It's really, really important. And we have the opportunity right now, as opposed to being, slaves to the 9 to 5. I'm a 9 to 5 person. I know for a fact that this is just, I'm using it to invest more and more into crypto, because I know that even with a pension, with a 401k, with an IRA, everything combined, because of the problems of the inflation, that what I'm making won't be enough for me to retire and to live in the way that I'm living now on my salary. So it really is a crisis that we're in, and that cryptocurrency solves.
Yes, well said. And then the timing is also perfect, because we are either in alt season or are about to enter alt season. And any coin, any token that is not Bitcoin is an altcoin, and they have their season, their cycle, and we're coming into that season right now, which is why we're encouraging everyone to get on board. Now is the best time to get into altcoins, because they're about to go bananas. So what is PulseChain? What is PulseChain? It is a fork of Ethereum. Richard Hart built Hex, a token called Hex on Ethereum, and the gas fees, the transaction fees became so costly, he decided to fork the entire network. When he did that, he copied Hex over onto the forked chain, PulseChain, and along with Hex, all the other tokens, every single one that was on Ethereum got forked over, exact duplicate copy. It was an exact duplicate copy of the entire chain. That is PulseChain. Ethereum has been termed the chain for institutions, and PulseChain has been called the people's chain. As Richard Hart is a man for the people. PulseChain is faster, and it's cheaper, and it's greener. The native token is PLS, Pulse, PLS. That's the native token. It's the chain's token. And then, of course, there's a decentralized exchange, which is PulseX, and there's 10,000 other tokens on there. Most of them aren't good, but there are some goodies on that chain for sure.
There was a system, Richard called it the system state copy of the entire Ethereum chain. So every ERC20 has an equivalent PRC20 on the PulseChain network. So there are some tokens that most of the tokens don't have as much value on PulseChain at this point as they do on the Ethereum, but it's a free copy. So for example, the wrapped Bitcoin was copied over from Ethereum, and now on PulseChain, as of today, it's worth over $600. So if you have any wrapped Bitcoin, you have money sitting on PulseChain, not in significant amounts.
Yeah. So if perhaps you had crypto on Ethereum, and what was the launch date? Was it May 13th, 2022? Does that sound right? And then there was
let me confirm that. It was in May. Let's see, launch date.
So if you had tokens on Ethereum in May, and I think it was 2022, they got copied over onto PulseChain. So you would have tokens on PulseChain, and they will have what did you get it confirmed?
May 13, 2023.
23. Cool. Okay. So there you have it. There's a lot of people that have free tokens over on PulseChain that don't even know it, but the value may not be there yet. Okay. So how much could a person make? How much can a person make by investing in crypto? You just said that it's the world's highest appreciating asset, and Hex did a 10,000x. So users inputting $100 became millionaires. Now Hex is it doesn't happen every day that a token makes a 10,000x, but there are a lot of people that have made a bucket ton of money in crypto, and it's all speculation, like what a person can make in crypto. You can make forecasts, you can make an effort to forecast what you could perhaps make, but it's all speculation. You can't predict the future of anything, right? But clearly there is an opportunity to make money in crypto.
Well, let's say this, Banana. For Ethereum, which PulseChain is a fork of Ethereum, Ethereum did a 14,000x from the lowest price to the highest price. It actually might be a little bit higher now because it hit a new all-time high. But as of the last all-time high, it did a 14,000x. I don't know where else you could do a 14,000x. And Richard Hart was quoted saying that PulseChain is designed to do what Ethereum did. So that's no guarantee, and this is definitely not financial advice, but it is designed to do the same thing.
Yes. Yep. Will it happen this cycle? I'm not sure. I think PulseChain can do a lot of X's this cycle, though, really, because Richard Hart is going to want the chain to do well first cycle, so people will come back, and more people will come for the following cycle in 4 years. So let's talk about how to get on to PulseChain. Like what kind of wallet, because you got to have a wallet to put the crypto in, and then you have to fund that wallet, and then you have to get over to PulseChain. So the wallet, before we jumped on stream, you mentioned a wallet, internet money wallet. Do you have a preference for that wallet? And we didn't even talk about this, we should have. But would you recommend that wallet as a way to get onto the chain versus Rabby and getting Ethereum and bridging over?
Yes, I really prefer internet money wallet. I think it's the user experience is amazing. It's very secure. If you want, you can even trade within the wallet, and the fees are quite low. I really do. That wallet has not been hacked. I really like the founder. He's doxed, and he's a really outstanding member of the community, KG. And I've been using that wallet since it's come out, and I've really highly recommend it.
Can you describe how to get onto PulseChain with the internet money wallet?
Well, first of all, you have to download a wallet. So you need to have a wallet, but you can go onto an exchange. You can go onto 0xcoast.com, or you can even go onto a Coinbase. Like Coinbase is probably going to be the most accessible for most people. And then from Coinbase, you know what, Banana? I think what we should do, because I can describe it, but I just feel like it's going to not. I think it's better to refer people to videos. Can you pull up the links of the videos? Crypto Coffee does a really good video, because what I don't want to do is misspeak on here and not describe a step correctly, because the videos are done in a very succinct and efficient way and super accurate, and it's work for people. So if you're not following Crypto Coffee is probably the most famous member of our community after Richard Hart, and he does amazing videos on how to buy PulseChain. And he did a video how to go bridge from base to PulseChain. I believe that using Liberty Swap, he just really describes it very well, because it's quite detailed.
Okay. Do you think we should play this video?
I don't think you necessarily even. You can play the video, or you can just drop them in the link.
I'll drop the link, but
Yeah.
there it is. There's Crypto Coffee. Good guy. Stylus and I have both met him. He's good people. And here's an 8-minute video of how to bridge from base to PulseChain.
Mm-hmm.
And that works. Okay, cool. Got that covered. Then, so I built a Telegram. If you have any questions about how to get onto PulseChain, if that video doesn't cover it for you, I'll put the link to my Telegram in this chat, and then you can jump in there and ask any questions. Any questions. It's a safe place for you to ask your crypto questions. Okay, and if you need if you need Pulse to transact, you can get Pulse at freepls.com too. That's another resource for you. And then once you're over onto PulseChain, so let's say somebody follows Crypto Coffee's advice. They get their PulseChain, and it's in their wallet. They're all set up, and now what? What do these people do? They've got PulseChain. They're invested in the chain. They're invested in the chain's token. Now what, Stylist?
Well, now that you're invested in the chain's token, you got to take a look around. You're in the mall. You got to see what else is in the mall. Is there anything else you want to buy? There are all of Richard Hart's assets. So there is PulseChain, Pulse, PLS, which is the native token of the chain. There's PulseX, which is the exchange token, right? And then there's Hex, there's Ink. And what else am I missing?
That's it.
That's it.
Those are the 4 cores.
Yeah, those are the core coins for Richard. So I think that you can't go wrong by investing in his projects.
Yep. Because
of his background, his history, and his track record. So those are definitely worth looking into. And if you get too confused and can't decide which one that you want to invest in, you can also, there's a project called PTGC, which is basically like an index token, an index of all the Richard Hart assets. And so owning PTGC is like owning all the Richard Hart assets. And that's had extraordinary performance. I bought into this token just over a year ago, and it's been the best performing asset that I have in my portfolio.
Yes.
The smallest capital allocation and the biggest percentage of my portfolio. That's how I describe it.
True story. I hold that token too. And that's this. I've heard it from other people too, that PTGC has become the biggest holding in many people's wallets. And it's because it is outperforming PLS. It's a leverage play on PLS, and it's outperforming it. Unlike many other tokens on the chain, PTDC is outperforming the core token. It's outperforming all 4 core tokens, actually. And it's bonded with them. Like Stylist said, by owning PTDC, you own a little bit of the 4 cores. And the 4 cores, Richard Hart will ensure that they will be successful this cycle. So
I think also this marketing campaign is going to be tremendous because of the number of the devices that are being sent out. It's in the hundreds of thousands that are going to targeted addresses, and of people who are going to have this device that has hex.com, pulse.com. It advertises all of the whole, pulse chain and hex. And so this will be seen by people day in and day out. And I also think that there will be people who receive it who will be outraged and will be talking about it. And they will be making so much noise, and they don't realize that no publicity is bad publicity and that they are actually marketing for Richard. And I think that's part of his intention. So apparently when mailers were sent out years ago for Hex, the postcards just caused so much outrage in the X community. So, and by the other communities in crypto. And so I think that this will have a similar effect. And what that in turn did was advertise. People are talking about it. It gets the name out there.
Yep.
So I think that this is going to be tremendous. In addition to the fact that, Richard is, what if he comes back streaming again? He could come back and stream. He can, there's a lot to be said about being in something so early with such a strong founder, with such a huge and strong community. This is the stickiest, loudest, most powerful community I have ever been a part of. And that's what drives projects. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's definitely worth taking a look at, and it's definitely worth thinking about whether or not, it could be worth investing. I can't tell you what to do. We can't give financial advice on this channel, but we're both invested heavily and we believe in it very much. And I think that the big run for Pulse, PulseX, Inc., and Hex have not happened this cycle yet. And, when it does, so you still have time to get in.
Yes. And crypto is difficult. We're literally still in the Wild West phase of crypto. And I can't tell you, Stylist, how many times I've sat at this computer and just pulling my hair out like, oh, this is so difficult. Why is it so difficult? Well, that's where the success is going to be. Because if you gutted it out and persevered your way through and gotten onto PulseChain or gotten into some of these other projects and got through the difficulty before it becomes easy, then you're probably going to be successful. That's my not financial advice forecast, because once crypto is easy, everybody's already going to be in, and many of the gains will have already been made. So there's a couple opportunities here.
Yeah. And once everybody's talking about PulseChain and, talking and singing its praises, then it's going to be so expensive.
Yeah. Right now it's very, very, we're at the rock bottom. If you haven't noticed, if you pull up the PLS chart, it's like, but it ain't going to be there for long, in my opinion, and probably Stylist's opinion also.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely not going to be there for long. And, it might feel painful to buy something when you look at a chart and you see that it's at its bottom, but that's, buying something at the bottom price is where you're going to have the most amount of gains. Mm-hmm. It's the best buy.
Yes. So some words of caution. Crypto, and this is not to scare you off, but you just need to use your own head. Crypto is, there's a lot of scammers that try to take advantage of people in crypto, especially in Telegram. You just got to be cautious. Set your settings, and you'll be all right. And then never, once you have your wallet set up, never digitize any of your wallet stuff, your seed phrase, and keep it very, very private. Keep it very secure. What else is there to mention? We got into PTDC. I think we're about to I think we're about to wrap it up. Follow me on Twitter, and then follow Stylist too. I just don't have your Twitter handle.
It's at Crypto Stylist, just like it's written on my in my title line.
At Crypto Stylist. And then jump into my Telegram. Like I said, it's a safe place for you. I'm in there. Several other experts, blockchain, PLS, PulseChain experts are in there, and we can answer any questions that you got. All right,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen. Stylist, you got any final words?
No, just, I think that it's really great. You should take advantage of the Telegram. I've been in the Telegram that Banana's a part of, and it's a very, it's a really safe space, and there's a great place where questions will be answered, and that's, and answered in the right way. So you get good information, and that's really hard to come by in crypto.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. See ya.
Bye.